Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Hey, I was calling to for one follow up on our previous call to you guys to find out if you were able to investigate or um get any further information on what I had uh told you guys previously.
Yes, Valerie Johnson did that.
Was able to investigate.
Yes.
Okay. And then so I talked to her to. Do you have information on the follow up or?
So, what I understood from our conversation, as best I can recall, you were concerned about uh, the court's decision to have the department have custody.
No, that wasn't it.
Okay. What is the concern?
Oh, well, then the concern was the way that um, the situation was handled, the way that the worker was clearly unwilling to um, follow the statute, how she didn't even know the statute. Well, I hadn't gone to court. There was no court hearing at the time that I had reached out to you before. So
Okay.
afterward, we were able to get a hearing and to prove to the court the complete incompetence of the workers and the heinousness of the situation, and get this non-secure custody order dissolved. But at that time, um, I was telling you that the I had gotten my children from someone who had had them kidnapped for 2 years, and the day before this happened, and that this person, orchestrated this, and that they took the children to this person without my consent. It's a family member of mine. I had a family member of mine for them to take the kids to. They didn't call her. They didn't investigate. Like, they didn't go there to check out her house or anything. They took the kids straight to this person who I had just gotten my children back from, who orchestrated it all. And so that was like my main concern. Um, and yeah, but so I don't know. Do you guys not have notes on, like, do you have not have any notes on what Valerie, or was she, because she's supposed to have written down the things that I was saying. So
What? Where were your children when the department took them from you?
they were with me.
Where were
So
you?
I was in Vass.
Where were you living?
I was living in Moore County.
So the information that I have is that there was concern about where you were living in Moore County.
Well,
Um,
right.
there,
Well,
that's what I understand was part of the petition that went to court.
right, and that's all you have. So you don't have any information on what I expressed to Valerie, or any follow up relating to that.
So this is a summary that I have. I understand that you're not happy about the removal, but since the court is already involved, that's where things lay. Department of Health and Human Services doesn't have any jurisdiction over a judge.
No, it's not about the judge's decision. Like I said, at this time we hadn't had a hearing at that
Okay.
time. So, like I said, my concern was that they were taken. I mean, like, I would like to know where the information is that I relayed to Valerie.
So I there's a write up. I don't have all of that in front of me because I don't have access to the system working virtually. Like I said, I have the synopsis that and you told me that you felt the removal should not have happened.
That's not even, like, you're trying to come back and trying to use whatever information that you've been given from whatever other side of things, or however, you're trying to play it in order to try to make me look guilty. I can see that. What I'm saying to you is that I would like for you to get the information that was relayed to Valerie, read it. You know what I'm saying? If there hasn't been a follow up, let me know that there's been no investigation, or that you don't have the information that I gave to Valerie, or, something along the lines of what my true concerns are, and how it's been about a month since I called you guys. I mean, if you haven't followed up, like, just tell me that you haven't followed up, and then, we can go from there. Or
Had a conversation with Moore County. Yes,
you have not.
We have done that.
Okay, okay. So, and then you have the notes on the like, that conversation. Like, what was the outcome of the conversation?
Of which conversation?
The conversation that you guys had with Moore County.
Yes.
So you do have the notes on that.
I know the information that we got. Yes.
Okay, and Valerie was the one who had the conversation with them? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I mean, so are you Valerie's supervisor?
I'm not her direct supervisor. She has a supervisor. His name is Michael Ward.
Okay. And then, okay. And so, what do you see as her notes on the so her notes on the outcome of the conversation are what you're saying to me, that they had concerns about where we're living? Is
that's what I'm saying was on the petition? Yeah.
That's all that came of her conversation with them, is that they had concerns about where we're living?
That is what she has as far as why the children, part of why there was a report. And I'm guessing I know who your kids are placed with, because maternal grandmother is referenced here.
Right. So like I said, my issue was, for one, how were they? What, she was supposed to ask them or inquire how they came to be placed where they were placed, because, like I said, this person had just shot at my children, like, a few months before. And I mean, I don't know, like, if you're not in a position to actually take the proper notes on what my concerns are, I don't want to go back into this again. But it definitely sounds like, I mean, of course you guys work together,
So Valerie is the person who would take the notes and ask the specific questions.
So she doesn't, because I know she said for sure that she was going to find out how they came to be placing the children where they placed them. So she didn't get any follow-up on that?
Because I'm not saying she didn't. I don't know whether she did or not. It's not in my notes, which is just a short email.
Okay. Yeah, because that wasn't my only concern, but that was one of my biggest concerns. There was, like I said, I mean, from what I now understand, you guys don't even have oversight on them. Is that correct?
I'm not quite sure what you're saying. All counties in North Carolina are state supervised.
Okay. So you guys have the power to make changes within their organization?
We cannot change personnel in a county.
Okay. What power do you have over them?
We are the folks who, number one, create the policy for Child Welfare, which is on our website, and we monitor the county's following of policy.
Okay, so it sounds like you should be. And then if they're not following policy, what can you do if you're not able to fire people?
Well, we have conversations with counties about the basis for the decisions that they have made that we might question, and discuss what's in the best interest
Okay.
of children in the case.
Okay. So what is the difference between the policy that you guys create and the statute?
Our policy is created based on statute as well as best practice.
And you have a written policy outside of the statute?
We do.
Okay. I definitely like to read that.
It's on the website. It's public.
Yeah. I wasn't aware that you had a policy outside of the statute. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure as far as moving forward in order to get my real concerns heard.
So I think one of the things you should do, since your case is now in court, is talk to your attorney.
I'm representing myself, and I'm talking to you all about the practices of these Child Protective Services workers who you said that you have oversight on, who are obviously not following the policy. I would pray that, I mean, if the policy is based off the statute, there's no way that they're following the policy. Like I said, I have other concerns, like the fact that they're telling parents that, okay, so I talked to another Child Protective Services in a different county, in Halifax County, talked to a woman there, and, asked her what's the general rule on when they take children from homes, of making sure the children go back to the home once their order is dissolved. And because I still haven't gotten my children back. My children were allowed to be taken from the place where they were put into non-secure custody and taken to a different place. And I'm now in another state, still trying to get my children back from what you guys did. I've still not, after the judge dissolved the order, I still have not gotten my children back. And this is based off of you guys. This is your liability. But, that's a further concern from my original concerns, which still have not been addressed. So I was telling her about the situation. She told me that they rarely do verbal holds on children, verbal 12-hour hold on a child. This happened to my children, and in the statute, it's clearly, you can tell what that's about, like, because infants are mentioned in the entire section. So, from my understanding, doing a verbal 12-hour hold is for an extreme situation where there's no possible way that a worker can go and get a court order before taking the child. Like if an infant was alone somewhere, of course the worker can't leave the infant and go and get an order to come back and get the infant. They have to take the infant, So, but that is being used for these workers, and I don't know if it's just Moore County or what, because like I said, in Halifax County, she said they rarely do that, but that's being used. That was used against me in order to take my children immediately. And then I was told that I couldn't be present during the 12-hour hold, which is a lie, because those statutes clearly says the parent has the right to be present during the hold. I was told that I could not be there. And during this 12-hour hold is when this worker is corresponding with the judge in order to get a person's custody taken away. I mean, it's conspiracy, and the crazy thing is this happened to another family that I saw it on the news, and it was about 10 miles away from where it happened to us, about 3 days later, and it's just as heinous, but these are my original concerns. Now I'm having more concerns, that why I followed up because I thought you guys would have addressed the original concerns by now. Um, I mean, like, gosh, like, who do you answer to?
So I don't recall you talking anything about 12-hour holds when you originally called me. I don't know what you told Valerie. Um, and I'm not exactly sure where you're referencing. I know that in 7B, if immediate removal seems necessary, the director can sign a petition to invoke the jurisdiction of the court.
The director can sign a petition to invoke the jurisdiction of the court, and the court will then issue an order for the children to be removed. Is that what you're saying?
They don't issue an order. The petition is essentially the non-secure order. And at that point, there are hearings every 7 days, I believe.
No, so I don't know. I'm talking about. They're saying they can do a verbal hold on a child, any child, at any time, for 12 hours, which it is in the statute that they can, if it is such an extreme situation that they're not able to get a judge to, uh, um, agree to the children being removed from the home, that they can remove the child without a judge's consent, and they're able to get the consent of the judge afterward. Now, in this situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not poor. Like, we're not needy. We are healing. We're living in, like, we're in nature. And I mean, we even live there. Most of the time, we're in hotels when it's like, when the need arises. But we're connecting with nature. We live in a very beautiful environment. My children know that we're healing. We're in the trees. Like, this is not something that we're being forced to do. This is something that we're choosing to do. And the children are very aware of it. You understand what I'm saying? And there's no, like, they did this out of spite because we told them that they need to get a judge in order to trespass onto our property. There's no way that they thought that where we were was so extreme that they needed to remove two 16-year-old boys on a verbal hold. You understand what I'm saying? Like, are you serious? you know so you know I can send you the part of the statute that I'm talking about, so you can see what I mean. But they're using this to take children, to break up families. And I know why. Like, even further, I found out why you guys are interested in putting children into foster care. Why you don't follow the statute that says that you're supposed to protect the constitutional rights of the family, and that you're supposed to see to it that the permanence of the family situation is first and foremost. Why they're badgering you with the terrorism of foster care, you know, before you've even had a hearing. A foster care worker is trying to fill out paperwork. I know you guys get your administrative fees reimbursed, and that you make up whatever your administrative costs are so that you can pocket money from the federal government through Title IV. Like, I've learned that, and this is what you guys are doing. So I wanted to talk to somebody who was, in, like, North Carolina, over in the North Carolina side of it, not just the county. you know, and it's kind of disappointing that my issues haven't been followed up on. Is there, like, do you have any sort of remedy to get my actual concerns addressed?
So if you will talk to Valerie and have her document what your actual concerns are, she and I and her supervisor will discuss what, if anything, of those concerns we can address.
Okay, so you don't feel that doing a verbal 12-hour hold on a 16-year-old in an environment that's not even dangerous is something that might need to be addressed?
I don't know everything about it to say.
My issue is that I've already talked to Valerie. I've already had like a 3-hour conversation or something with her in order to have her to take down my concerns, and she didn't obviously take down my concerns. So now you want me to waste another 3 hours of my life for issues that you're saying, if anything, you might address.
I don't know if she did or didn't. I could touch back with her to say that I need the entire history.
Right. To at least like have what she wrote. If she just will give you what she wrote, maybe you can read it. And then, I mean, like I said, moving forward, my children have still not been returned to me. You know, so I don't need like I would like to be able to go into my new concerns, but I don't even feel that I can because the old concerns haven't even been addressed. I mean,
At this point, the court is already involved, and so there will be very little as far as the court and removal that we could do anything about.
I have my children back. Like I said, the order was dissolved. My children were taken from the place where they were dangerously placed and brought to two different states. Nobody oversaw me, the children. After our first hearing, the order was dissolved. No one oversaw my children being placed back where they came from before all of these malicious actions took place. I mean, the worker admitted to lying on the petition that we had weapons in order for them to use assault rifles to come and kidnap our children. She admitted to lying on the stand, to saying that we had weapons, to a story she had no grounds for where this idea came from, other than that it was made up on the second day after we didn't allow them to trespass onto our property. On the stand, she admitted to this. And you're saying, what if anything? And I'm not even surprised. So what who's your oversight? Like who can I actually talk to get some changes made? Because my concern is for the other families that this is happening to.
So if you know about other cases, then you should call in or have them call in their concerns.
Why? So you guys can not do anything?
So we cannot act on something we don't have data or information on.
But I gave you data and information and you didn't follow up properly. So you can't say that you don't have data or information. The truth is that it hasn't been correctly followed up on. And I'm not going to send another family to have to waste their time going through this until I can be sure that there's going to be actual accountability.
Well, I have to say that I'm a little confused through our conversation because now you've said that the children are back with you. And that is not what I understood you to be saying earlier in our conversation when I talked about the case being back in court. So
I don't know. I told you many times that the order was dissolved. But once it was dissolved, the kids were immediately taken by another family member and brought to a different state. They weren't placed back with me from the workers. They allowed someone else to come and take the children.
Who allowed someone else to take the children?
The people. I mean, Moore County DSS, are they not obligated to place a child back where they got them from once an order is dissolved, once a non-secure custody order is dissolved? Are they not obligated to oversee that the children are taken or placed back where they got them from? where they took them from.
I can't speak to what the plans were. Different things happen. So if a child were in a foster parent's home, that foster parent might be the person bringing them back to the parents.
But wouldn't that be like, wouldn't the worker oversee to make sure that that happened?
Not necessarily.
And I'm not even surprised because of the way that they have gone about doing everything else that they've done. I'm not even surprised that they wouldn't be concerned about getting the children back. There's no interest anymore. There's no interest in a child who's no longer in foster care because they can't make money for the workers. So whatever, right? But that's against the statute and it's against the law, which makes it criminal. The statute clearly says to protect the child, to protect the constitutional rights of the child and the family, and even more. So it's criminal that they don't care after the order's dissolved. Even, I mean, yeah, they're making money off the kids being in foster care, but that's not what your job is. That's not your job description. You have a very sensitive job. We're talking about children and families. The basis of all of humanity. Children are very precious. My children have been very traumatized over the criminal actions of the workers, because statute is law, and if you break the law, that's a crime. I don't know. I mean, like, who's your supervisor or something? Because
So the name of my supervisor right now is a vacancy, but over her is someone named Lisa Colley, who I will tell you up front is going to refer you back to me.
Okay. And so what's her title?
She is the Senior Director for Adult, Family, and Children's Services.
Okay. Do you have her phone number?
It is 919-527.
Okay.
6401, I think is correct.
Okay, Lisa Colley.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. If you can have Valerie give me a call back.
Okay.
And then, to initiate this process of what you're saying about her taking the proper notes or getting the proper notes to you and her supervisor being able to have a conversation.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.